into that burning, sorry, to get into that burning building and do everything, you need to work your business every day like your house is on fire, basically. Non-negotiables. You're getting in to get out the things that mean the most to you. And that's not the paragraph I've been able to find, but I've highlighted this one as well. And it talks about creating because affirmations. Now that you know what's happening, let's talk about how to change it. One of the quotes I have coined over time is, our limiting beliefs are constantly looking for a story to justify our fears and excuses. What this means is that once a belief settles into your subconscious mind, we start looking for proof of that belief to turn it into the story that you can get behind. If you have convinced yourself that you are only outgoing, that only outgoing people can have success, you'll follow all of the most outgoing people on Instagram and use that as your proof that you can't have success because you're not like them. Well, guess what? You can. They're like them and they're successful because they're authentic, and you are like you and you can be successful because you're authentic. You'll follow them religiously and constantly be triggered by their actions because they're not you. As you see them speaking on stage, you'll just keep tallying up reasons in your brain while you never be successful. Somehow you'll overlook the fact that 90% of successful online entrepreneurs are introverted, and that's why they decided to build a business online. The first step is just to be aware of what excuses you are actually making to yourself. And again, guys, these are not my words, these are Josh Coates, but these are my words as well. I mean this with love. You are making excuses in your business by saying, oh, well, I'm going to try and do that. I can't do that. You can. But that's your mind making excuses and tricking yourself. You need to become stronger than your mind. The first step is just being aware of what excuses you are making. Take a minute to ask yourself, what is the number one reason I'm telling myself that I can't do this? Write it down, no matter how silly it seems. What excuse are you actually giving yourself? Like, I'm just trying to think of an example. Like, I use this all the time. I used to say, I can't use Canva because I don't know how to use technology. I can. I was just making an excuse, okay? The next thing is to ask yourself, is this based on my past fears and scarcity, or on the future version of my faith, hopes, and abundance that I want to bring into my life? I want you to actually write it down and then write it. Is this based on my past fears or my future destiny? And that's the sentence I'm going to leave it on. What you have done in your business up to this point has got you where you want to be. You've let those fears overcome your mind. You've let those excuses get in and go, oh, well, I can't do that because I'm not a superstar director. I've only been in for a month. I don't know many people in my, whatever it may be. You're letting those excuses get into your mind, and that's got you to this point, okay? So if you want to move forward, you need to start overcoming them. You need to start thinking about the future version of you. Whatever you want your business to look like in 3 months, in 6 months, in 2 years, in 5 years. I don't know about you. As long as Sense is going, we're going to be here, right? You need to believe that you're going to be if that's what you want, okay? I'm going to be a director. I'm going to be a superstar director. I'm going to be on the ship. I know this is about getting to lead and about getting 500, but like, let's just use the incentive as an example. There is absolutely not one part of Lisa or I that will say, oh, well, I might, we are going on that trip. Well, no matter what it takes, we're going to make it happen, because once you've earned one, you know, you're never going to make that happen. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because this is a topic I could, and then I'm just going to come on to goal setting. Is this excuse based on my past fears and scarcity mindset, or on my future destiny? You get to choose. I literally put this in a reel yesterday. Everything in your life, you get to choose every day. You can't always control the external sources, the external things going on. What you can control is your action, is how much personal development you do. You can control all of that. So you actually, it's going to take time, but you actually get to choose the future version of yourself. Like, just stop and think about that for a minute. I think that's really powerful. Like, you actually get to decide what your future looks like, the future version of what you know. Oh my God, what's her name? She's a leader in Beachbody. Kim.
Oh, it's Kim Cattrall, but it's not Kim Cattrall. I know who you're talking about, but
you know who I mean. This is something she shares all the time. She's like, think about the person that you like, that, you know, the Laura in 5 years. Like, what does she look like? What does that life look like? How much water does she drink?
Patrick.
Who does Kim Fitzpatrick? That's it. Who, like, when you think about the person that you want to be, or what you want your business to look like, what does that day look like? Do you get up and sit and endlessly scroll social media and then gossip with somebody down the road and, you know, just drink loads of rubbish and eat loads of rubbish and do things that are not going to serve you? Or do you take some time to work on yourself? Do you maybe do a bit of reading? Do you go for a walk in nature and, you know, get your, you know, all these things that you know are good for you and that you know are going to help you in your life? Or do you not do them? So, but basically, it's the same with your business. Visualize the person that you want to be and then put the actions in place to get there. Okay, so that's on your mindset. And really, really quickly, I'll talk about goal setting because otherwise I'll be here all night. So when it comes to your goals, if it's 500 PRV or if it's sponsoring a teammate, okay, you need to set some goals and then you need... Sorry, I think my dog needs a wee. Sorry.
Right. Did you notice that Micah gave me the Mr. Right mug? Ever. He knew.
But you need to break them down. Like Emma said in the chat earlier, you need to break them down into manageable chunks. So instead of thinking, oh, I want 500 PRV this month, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's about 17 PRV a day. So instead of thinking, oh, how am I going to get this month? Break it down into weekly and then daily tasks. And that's exactly why we're doing the 500, the PRV test every day, to try to get you to that 500. Because when you break it down, something doesn't seem as scary. Okay, so that's when it comes to goal setting. Yes, it's amazing. In fact, it's really, really important in Tensi, I believe. You need to have like big, airy, scary goals. You need to literally, I've written down here, dream bigger than you ever thought possible. Like this is the only life you're getting. This is the only opportunity. This bit, like, I'm getting really deep now, but this is literally my jam. Like, this is the only life you're going to get. Do you want to look back in 20 years and think, oh, do you know what would have happened if I'd maybe given Tensi a bit more of a go? Like, what would have happened? Anything is possible in this business, I promise you. But you do need to set those big, airy, scary goals, but then also set some like smaller goals that, again, like Lisa said earlier, are going to compound when you do them consistently. And then before you know it, you look back in 5 years and you've hit some of them big, airy, scary goals along the way because they've compounded to that. But first of all, start with your 500 PRV, break it down into a daily goal and then go for that. And then it just doesn't seem as scary. Same with sponsoring, okay? If you want to sponsor a teammate, asking one person a month isn't going to cut it. Asking 2 people a month isn't going to cut it. You need to be asking loads of people. I remember putting a post in my customer group once and going, who wants a teammate? And loads of people commenting because I think they thought I was going to give them a team member. So I messaged them all individually and said, amazing. How many people have you asked this month? And the amount of people that came back and said, nobody. The facts are, guys, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. And I don't actually like to use this sentence because this isn't actually like as it means. I don't want to say like it's a numbers game, but it is a numbers game. If you ask 2 people, I think we've actually heard a statistic once about the ratios, Lisa, haven't we, of like how many people?
1 in 10.
Yeah, it's 1 in 10, isn't it? So if you want to sponsor
1 in 20, I actually think it might be. So yes.
So yeah, you need to be offering, and it's just a question, okay? When you are speaking to your customers, when you are speaking to your network, have you ever thought about joining Sensi? Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Have you ever thought about becoming a Sensi consultant? Have you ever thought about earning cash back on your orders? You need to just get over that. I don't want to ask people. You're simply offering them an opportunity, but you need to set some goals. And if you want to sponsor, you need to think bigger. So if you have been asking 5, ask 10. If you've been asking 10, ask 20, because that's genuinely what we do.
I will add with that, guys, and we will talk about this more in sponsoring week. But if you are having lots of conversations and you're getting lots of no's and you don't know why, bring those conversations to Laura and I. Show us what you're sending people, because it might well be that it's just the language that you're using that's making people go, you know, like, no, not interested. You know, I feel like every conversation I have is very, very different. Some it's very direct, like a real sales, look, you need to join. Whereas like last night, my teamie that signed up, it was literally because she gave me an order for £260. And I was like, Lynn, if you don't sign up and get paid on this, plus you're going to get £24 in free credit, plus I can give you a kit pretty much for free because I had a massive order of credit to give away. I was like, it's a no-brainer. And you're going to get paid on this £50. And she was like, she went, sign me up. I'm going to do it for my friends and family. Sign me up. You know, exactly that, Emma. It's about listening to your customer, and that will then work the conversation, not just going into people's inboxes and just asking the question, making it really natural. But we'll talk about that more on sponsoring week. But
Sorry.
definitely, you know, bring the conversations back to us. If you're finding you're having lots and lots and lots of no's, then that's what we're here to help with. Because especially if you want to set yourself the goal to go big and hit lead this month, then you might want to sponsor, I would say, in the next probably 3 or 4 days. I'd say your sponsoring needs to happen at the beginning of the month. So it's probably quite an important conversation to be having. Because ideally you want to get them active, and then you've got another 1,000 PRV to do before the end of the month. It's pretty big when you look at it like that. And if there's only 2 of you.
One last thing I just want to say on mindset, and then I'll promise I will stop, is don't think it's like a perfect system, right? Okay, this is something that I've always integrated into my life, but there are seasons in my life when I don't do it as much, and I really notice the impact on my business. Even tonight, coming and talking to you, I will get off the Zoom and I'll be like, I want to go up because I'm inspired, because I've been talking to you guys about this topic, and like I've literally read that paragraph. So don't feel like it has to be like a perfect system. And you know, like I said, the seasons when I do it more and when I do it less. But even just, and I'll share some examples in both the groups and of some of these books that are like super thin. Even I just find reading one paragraph of something in the morning while you're like making your coffee, or if you can just find like a couple of minutes in your day to read something, it just sets your mind. And it's the reason why we both try and share like inspirational posts in our groups in the morning, because hopefully it's going to set you into the right mindset for the day. So I know I'm sharing books and stuff, but don't feel you need to have hours and hours and hours on end. Sometimes I literally just dip into something for 5 minutes that I feel like I might need that day, and it just clicks my brain into a certain mode for work, for business, for, you know, like we said, for your life. So don't feel like you need to suddenly have hours and hours on end in your day. Again, how can I put this? If it's important to you, you'll find a way, basically. If not, you'll find an excuse. And it is true with anything like this. So I absolutely will, Serena. When I get off here, I will find some books that I think will be relevant to this, that are super easy to digest. And I will share them.
Josh Coates one that you just shared is a very good book. I've only read half of it. I need to read the rest of it.
Yeah, this is really good. Girl Code, like there's loads I could literally think off the top of my head, but they're not all big chunky ones. Some of them are like super thin, and I will just like dip in every now and again, read a couple of paragraphs.
I don't know how you do that. I have to read the whole thing in one look.
Oh no,
Laura weird, guys. She literally reads a chunk of this book and a chunk of that book, and I'm like,
I've read them all before though. I do read them all first. Like I've read them all, and they're on my shelf.
Yes, I'm all about audiobooks, because my brain, when I do an audiobook, the Energy Bus, for example, I listen from start to finish in 2 days. Not even that.
I did love an audiobook as well when I'm reading. But yeah, I know. I do read them.
I will just add on all of this, guys. This is all about finding ways to shift your mindset, to switch your business in the next gear. Every single one of you that's on here right now, first of all, you've already had the mindset shift that's got you to press join on the call tonight and give up your time with us. That, first of all, we're so grateful for, because first of all, I wasn't sure whether we'd be talking to ourselves tonight, Laura. And second of all, I think it shows that you are serious about taking that next step in your business and learning how you can get there. But the next bit is really battling the mindset over those hurdles of the sponsoring and the 500 PRV, because it's not easy. I have moments of like last month, Laura, tell you and I bang on about this, but the beginning of the month absolutely shook me, because I didn't have my 500 PRV on the first of the month. And that's become a habit that I put in place and put pressure on myself for. But when I didn't have that in place, it set me in such a bad, well, for the whole month, I'm not going to lie, it set my month off on a really uneven keel, and I really struggled to bring back my mindset, even hit the PRV that I wanted within a goal. So I said to myself, that's a system that I need in place for me. Yours might be, okay, I'm not going to go for my 500 on the first, but I might at least get 100 PRV in on the first, because then I've only got 400, which is 15 PRV a day to do for the rest of the month. You know, you're making it easier on yourself. It's about finding a habit that works for you, but making sure that you've got those non-negotiables. £605 system. How am I going to do it? Like Laura said, splitting it up into chunks. It makes it so much easier. And all of these things, I promise you, hitting lead consultant. And this isn't, as you say, not just about you. this becomes bigger than you. When you start to bring other people into the business, this is the bit that I love. Like, this is my favorite bit. Oh, my favorite bit is showing up tonight and training you guys. This literally sets my soul on fire. Like, Laura knows how much I love training, like to the point where like I drive people. It literally is the thing that drives me in my business. I know some people aren't inspired by sitting watching training and whatnot, but for me, doing the training and knowing that you're walking away learning something, even if it's just one thing that you walk away and go, well, I didn't know that about the compensation plan tonight, or I have no idea, or I've learned how to flip my mindset tonight, then we know that we've done our job. And that's the special bit. And you will get to do that. We're not saying that you have to show up on a Zoom for your team and have them all on a Zoom, because you will make this business work for you. But you being able to share your love for the product and being able to watch somebody grow is the most incredible thing. When I hear people like, and I had a conversation with a teammate today who's recently rolled up to me and she said, oh, I think it was today or yesterday. She said, I've got that fire back in my belly and I think it's actually Kay and she may well be on here. She said, I'm ready for this. I'm so ready to step it into another gear. And I was like, yes, that for me is a feeling that is really hard to describe to people. And when you start to get that with your team, you suddenly understand that this isn't just about me anymore. This isn't just about my goal of being able to be a stay-at-home mum for my kids. I watched Artie today peel off some of my goals off of the wall because I've got all my incentive tracker on stickers on the wall so that I can look at it every day. And he was like, can I take them off? I was like, actually, yes, you can. And it's not just about that anymore. This becomes about, actually, if I get on that boat, when I get on that boat, will be amazing. But if I can see one of my team coming on that boat with me, or I can see my team being able to earn SFR, their ticket for free, or I can watch my team promote and find just a little bit of the love that I've found for this business and how it's changed my life. That's what being a leader is all about. That's where the magic happens. I'm going to stop recording and see if people want to. Oh, go on. No, sorry.
No, I was just going to say like 1,000,000%. Like, I cannot explain like how much that is on the money. Like when we this is just I'll add this bit in and then I'll stop. When we were in America and we spoke on stage, which was airy scary, that was a big airy scary goal, but when we stood in that room and people said like, oh my god, I don't know how you did it, we've been to things and I've been in rooms and watched people talk on stages and literally walked out and had those moments that like I can literally tell you like light bulbs that have gone off in my brain and that have helped me and have helped us over the years. And to have the opportunity to give back to a company that's given so much and to be able to do that for somebody else, that's when it became, I don't want to say easy, but that's when it became that what it was about. It wasn't about us standing on a stage. It was about giving back. You know, the Sensi way is, you know, give more than you take. And when we were offered that opportunity to do that and to stand on that stage and to share back and we got messages going like, oh, you know, thank you for sharing this, like you helped this. That's what it's about. It's not about you. It becomes not about you at all. It's about giving back to the company and the community. That's the word I was thinking of. The community that gives us so much. It is just, honestly, it's such a beautiful thing. And when you start to experience that, you just never want to stop. You just want to keep helping people. It's honestly,
That's a buzz in itself. And it's like, it's this lovely circle and people don't see that because they start going, oh, but I feel like I'm being pushy and I'm pushing my goals on someone else. And it's like, you're not, you're helping somebody. And in turn, that's going to impact their lives. And then in turn, you're going to feel amazing for that. And when you start to realize how that makes you feel, you're like, that, oh my God, you realize the magic of the business. That's where the magic comes in. I'm going to stop the recording, then we can see if there's any questions because I'm conscious on time because we've been on for nearly an hour.